Hey everyone, welcome to Crazy for Treasure. While I am crazy for treasure, what I will do to research items is I will go to eBay and look at what's sold. So I want to take you with. And what I am going to do is I will read the title of the item. The, the titles are not always accurate, but that is what I'm going to read to you, as well as what the items have sold for. And then I will go through the photos of that item. I go through a little fast, so if you would like to go back to an item, you can always pause it and take a closer look. I apologize in advance if I mispronounce anything. So join me in learning more about what's sold that's a treasure. Here we have a set of four antique gladiator decorated porcelain buttons, sold for $225 with 12 bids. Here are five antique Victorian buttons with birds and enamel sold for $229 with a total of 24 bids. Here is antique glass man in the moon button, Victorian check, face is blue, sold for best offer of $250. Here we have a rare antique Victorian black ball button with yellow and green glass coralline flowers. Here's an antique early 19th century golden age chased gilt brass waistcoat button sold for $262 with 14 bids. Here's a rare antique sterling Charles Horner button with flowers on flower design, 1901. Here's a large curved needle Japanese Satsuma butterfly flower antique button sold for $275. Here's an ornate antique Etruscan Revival gilt silver granulated button with Champlive enamel. Here's a stunning antique French Victorian gilt brass pansy button with Champlive enamel, sold for $294 with 22 bids. Here we have an antique Victorian 18 karat yellow gold button cover, sold for best offer of $289. Here we have extra scarce vintage peacock Chinese brass button by C.N. Wang, signed on reverse, sold for $320 with 29 bids. Here we have an antique picture button, Teddy Roosevelt, gazing at the moon, sold for $320. Here we have an antique 1920s silver waistcoat button with pearl and bezel set natural blue sapphire, sold for $334 with 17 bids. Here we've got a rare salesman sample ordering book, antique vintage Lamode's specialty buttons, sold for $359. Here's an antique English 19th century pure silver rim button with faceted glass jewels, sold for $381 with 9 bids. Here's an 1830s BB Jacksonian. Here's an 1830s BB Jacksonian steam locomotive antique button, sold for $399. Here's an antique button, large 18th century carved pearl shell with amethyst glass and pastes. Nice. Sold for $495. Here's an antique 1870s to 1880s French Victorian brass open work button with cut steel star, sold for $498 with 9 bids. Here's Goodyear rubber button collection, sold for best offer of $499. Here's a set of 12 rare antique Levi Salomon sterling. Here's a set of 12 rare antique Levi Salomon sterling silver Art Nouveau maiden buttons box, sold for $595. Here's an antique gilt brass button with heraldic cross design and screw head center, sold for $686 with 5 bids.